Hello, my amazing students, and welcome back to Daily English. Today, I'm going to share one of the most incredible business stories you've ever heard. This isn't just about cars. This is a story about failure, war, dreams, and victory. This is the story of BMW. Imagine a company that was once completely destroyed, banned from making engines, and almost disappeared forever. But instead of giving up, it came back stronger and more powerful than before. From building war machines to creating luxury cars, BMW transformed from nothing into a global empire. This story will inspire you and improve your English at the same time. I've written it in clear, simple language, perfect for English learners. You'll hear real vocabulary, powerful emotions, and learn about business success. So stay with me until the end because this journey will change how you think about never giving up. From war machines to dream cars, from ashes to empire, from zero to global power. This is the real BMW story. And if you love stories that teach English and inspire your life, subscribe to Daily English right now.
Let's begin our journey. Chapter 1. The birth before BMW. Let's travel back to the late 1800s, before BMW even existed. Germany was growing fast, with new factories, machines, and technologies everywhere. The world was changing rapidly, but nobody knew that one of the most famous car companies in history was about to be born. Not from cars, not from roads, but from the sky. BMW wasn't always called BMW. It all started in 1913 when a brilliant engineer named Karl Rapp created a company in Munich, Germany. He wasn't building cars, he was building airplane engines. Germany needed powerful engines for World War I, and Rapp's company became very important. His engines were strong, reliable, and fast, exactly what German aircraft needed. But Rapp wasn't alone. In the same city, another genius named Gustav Otto was also building aircraft engines. Yes, from the famous Otto family. His father invented the four-stroke engine that we still use today. These two men were building the future of flight. But after years of working separately, something amazing happened. In 1916, their companies joined together to form a new company called BFW. And then just 1 year later, in 1917, this company changed its name to BMW, Bayerische Motorenwerke, which means Bavarian Motor Works. The logo they chose was a blue and white circle, inspired by the Bavarian flag. Many people think it also looks like a spinning airplane propeller. BMW was born. But remember, they still weren't making cars. They were making airplane engines, and they were doing it extremely well. During World War I, BMW became a key part of Germany's military. Their engines were famous for power and performance in the sky. One of their most successful early engines was the BMW 3A, built in 1917. This six-cylinder engine powered German fighter planes and could fly high without losing strength, a huge advantage in air battles. But then, everything changed. Germany lost the war in 1918. And the Treaty of Versailles, signed in 1919, banned Germany from producing aircraft or aircraft engines. This meant BMW, a company born to build airplane engines, was suddenly illegal in its own business. They were crushed. Their purpose was gone. Their market was gone. Their product was banned. This was their first near-death moment. But BMW didn't give up. After being banned from aircraft engines, BMW had two choices: close the company forever, or reinvent themselves completely. They chose to reinvent. In 1923, they built something totally new, a motorcycle called the BMW R32. This was revolutionary. It had a flat twin boxer engine, shaft drive, and the unique horizontal cylinder design that BMW motorcycles are still famous for today. It was beautiful, strong, fast, and reliable. Just like that, BMW moved from air to road. Their motorcycles became popular across Germany and Europe. They were seen as premium, high-quality machines. In just a few years, BMW was profitable, respected, and growing again. But they weren't finished. There was one more step to complete the transformation: building cars.
The first BMW car. In 1928, BMW made a bold move. They bought a company that was already building small cars and improved the design. The result was the BMW 315, BMW's first car. It was small, affordable, and successful. It wasn't a luxury machine yet, but it proved something very important. BMW could build cars, and people would buy them. But just as BMW began to find its identity on the road, the world changed again in the most terrible way. The year was 1933. Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party came to power in Germany, and their focus was clear: military expansion, more weapons, more planes, more tanks, more war. For a company like BMW, with expertise in powerful engines, this meant one thing: BMW was pulled back into military production. As World War II began, the German military turned to BMW once again, not for cars or motorcycles, but for airplane engines. BMW had the knowledge, the engineers, and the factories that Germany needed. BMW became one of the main producers of aircraft engines for the Nazi war machine. Some of their most advanced engines included the BMW 801, used in the famous Focke-Wulf F-190 fighter plane, and the BMW 003, one of the world's first jet engines used in the Messerschmitt Me 262, the first jet-powered fighter aircraft in history. Yes, BMW was literally building the future of flight, with technology far ahead of its time, but they were also building weapons of war. Here's a painful truth that must be told honestly. During World War II, as BMW increased military production, the Nazi government used forced labor. Tens of thousands of innocent people, prisoners of war, concentration camp victims, and foreign civilians were forced to work in BMW factories under horrible, inhuman conditions. These people were hungry, scared, beaten, and had no choice. BMW was part of that system. This is a dark chapter in BMW's history, and the company has acknowledged this painful past. BMW has supported projects and foundations to remember the victims and ensure this never happens again. Success stories aren't always clean. Real history includes mistakes, pain, and truth. BMW's survival during the war came at a terrible cost. In 1945, World War II ended. Germany had lost, and the price was complete destruction. When Allied forces bombed German industrial areas, BMW's factories were targeted. Their Munich plant was heavily damaged. Their car factory ended up in East Germany under Soviet control. BMW lost everything: their factories, workers, car production, engine business, and brand image. Worse, the Allied Control Council banned BMW from producing anything mechanical. No planes, no engines, no motorcycles, no cars. They were completely frozen. For 3 years, from 1945 to 1948, BMW was legally banned from doing what it was born to do. Can you imagine? A company that once made cutting-edge jet engines was now reduced to nothing? So what did BMW do? They started making cooking pots. Yes, cooking pots, bicycles, and household items. Anything that could be made from scrap aluminum left from bombed aircraft parts. They even made farm tools and kitchen equipment. It wasn't glamorous, it wasn't profitable, but it kept some people employed and kept the name alive. By 1948, BMW was allowed to restart limited production, but only motorcycles. They brought back the BMW R24, a single-cylinder motorcycle. It sold reasonably well, but not enough. In 1951, BMW tried to return to car production with the BMW 501, a luxury sedan. But there were problems. The car was too expensive to build, too slow compared to competitors, and too expensive for post-war Germans to afford. BMW was bleeding money. They had fewer than 10,000 employees and were losing money every year.
By 1959, BMW was almost bankrupt. They couldn't pay debts or compete with Mercedes-Benz, which was dominating the luxury market. A deal was proposed to sell BMW completely to Mercedes-Benz. Yes, BMW almost disappeared forever, swallowed by its biggest rival. But then something happened that saved BMW's life. A man named Herbert Quandt, a powerful German businessman, believed in BMW, even when everyone else thought it was finished. Even when Mercedes was ready to buy it, he said no. He personally invested millions of dollars, over $100 million in today's money, into BMW. He took control of the company, restructured the debt, changed the strategy, and saved BMW from collapse. Because of Herbert Quandt, BMW remained independent. BMW survived. BMW had a second chance. After 2 wars, being banned, and financial failure, BMW was still standing. But survival isn't the same as success.
Chapter 2. Reinvention, the ultimate driving machine. By 1960, BMW had no strong products, no luxury image, and no clear identity. Their motorcycles were reliable but not profitable enough to support the whole company. They had avoided being bought by Mercedes-Benz, but were still seen as small, confused, and financially weak. If they wanted to survive, BMW needed to do 3 things: build cars people loved, stand for something powerful, and create a long-term vision. That's where the revolution began. In 1961, at the Frankfurt Motor Show, BMW revealed something completely new: the BMW 1500. Part of it would become known as the Neue Klasse, new class in German. Why was this car so special? It was the perfect combination of everything BMW wanted to become. Stylish but not flashy, compact but powerful, comfortable but sporty, affordable but premium. The 1500 had a 4-cylinder engine, modern design, independent suspension, disc brakes, and could reach 90 miles per hour. Very impressive for that time. It had space for families, power for enthusiasts, and soul for people to feel connected. It worked. The BMW 1500 was an instant hit. Between 1962 and 1972, BMW sold over 300,000 units of new class cars. That might not sound huge today, but at the time, it was life-saving. BMW went from losing money to becoming profitable again. They expanded production, hired more workers, and began investing in research and design. For the first time in decades, BMW had a future. What made BMW different wasn't just engineering, it was the feeling they gave drivers. BMW didn't want to copy Mercedes-Benz with big, heavy luxury sedans. Instead, they focused on something different: driving pleasure. They wanted to build sporty cars, not just comfortable ones. Cars that moved fast, turned smoothly, and felt alive in your hands. BMW called this idea Freude am Fahren in German, meaning the joy of driving. Later, this became the famous slogan, the ultimate driving machine. It was simple, powerful, and emotional. BMW wasn't just selling cars, they were selling a feeling of freedom. In the late 1960s, BMW began looking beyond Germany. They knew real success meant reaching the United States, United Kingdom, and Asia, especially Japan. In 1972, BMW of North America was officially created. Why was this important? Because America was car-obsessed and home to muscle cars, racing culture, and car magazines. If BMW could succeed there, they could succeed anywhere. And they did. American drivers loved the balance of European engineering and sporty performance. The BMW 2002, released in 1968, became a cult car in the US. It looked simple, but drove like a beast. Car and Driver magazine called it one of the greatest cars ever made, and sales exploded. By 1975, BMW had become a respected international brand. In 1973, BMW completed their new global headquarters in Munich, shaped like a 4-cylinder engine, a bold symbol of BMW's engineering soul. Next to it, they built the BMW Museum, shaped like a giant bowl. These buildings weren't just offices, they were statements. BMW was telling the world, we are not just a car company, we are an engineering legacy. Now comes one of the most important moments in BMW history. Between 1972 and 1977, BMW launched 3 core models that still define the company today. Number 1, BMW 5 Series, 1972. Mid-size luxury sedan, perfect for families and executives. Balanced, beautiful, reliable. Number 2, BMW 3 Series, 1975. Compact sports sedan. Affordable, but fast. It became BMW's best-selling car of all time, still exists today with over 16 million sold. And number 3, BMW 7 Series, 1977. Full-size luxury sedan designed to compete directly with Mercedes-Benz S-Class. Elegant, high-tech, and powerful. This wasn't random. BMW was organizing its identity. Each model had a number for the class and more numbers for the engine. Suddenly, the world began to understand the BMW system. People weren't just buying a car, they were joining a club. By 1980, BMW was thriving. The transformation was incredible. 1960, BMW made around 20,000 cars per year. 1980, BMW made over 350,000 cars per year. 1990, over 550,000 cars per year. Revenue in 1990, around $21 billion, adjusted for inflation. Cars sold in over 120 countries. From a company that once made cooking pots to survive, BMW was now a symbol of power and success. By the end of the 1980s, BMW had established itself as a world-class brand. But they wanted more. They wanted to be known as the heartbeat of driving passion, a brand representing adrenaline, precision, luxury, and power, all in one. To do that, they entered the world of speed. BMW knew that to prove engineering dominance, they had to win on racetracks. In the 1970s and 80s, they poured their soul into motorsport. This wasn't just branding, it was technological investment. What happens on racetracks pushes innovation to its limits. Engines tested at 300 kilometers per hour, brakes melting under pressure, designs pushed through brutal conditions. Their most famous racing creation, the BMW M1, 1978, a mid-engine sports car designed by Giorgetto Giugiaro, one of history's greatest car designers. 277 horsepower, top speed 162 miles per hour, built for racing. This car was fast, low, aggressive, and unlike anything BMW had ever made. In 1972, BMW had quietly formed a special team, BMW Motorsport GmbH. This was a secret squad of engineers, designers, and racers with one mission: take regular BMW cars and turn them into beasts. This team would create the legendary BMW M3, M5, M6, and eventually the M8. These weren't just fast cars, they were weapons with luxury and fire in their veins. In 1986, BMW introduced the first M3, E30. This car shocked the world with its 2.3-liter inline-4 engine, lightweight body, screaming high-rev sound, track-ready suspension, and 0 to 60 mph time of just 6.7 seconds. Super fast in the 1980s. But what made the M3 legendary wasn't just speed, it was balance. You could drive it on the track, then take it to the grocery store. It made you feel like a racing driver, even going to work. By the 1990s, BMW's identity was crystal clear. It wasn't just luxury like Mercedes or technology like Audi. It was the ultimate combination of style, sport, and soul. Celebrities started driving BMWs, musicians mentioned BMW in lyrics, entrepreneurs chose the 3 Series as their first luxury car. The 7 Series became the choice for diplomats and CEOs. Every BMW model became a statement. 5 Series, I've made it in life. 3 Series Coupe, I'm young, successful, and fast. M5, I want a supercar in a suit. Movies got involved too. James Bond drove a BMW 750iL in Tomorrow Never Dies, 2007. Mission Impossible featured BMW chase scenes. BMW even created BMW films, short, cinematic movies starring Clive Owen to show the emotion of driving. BMW was no longer just a company, it had become a culture. With growing demand, BMW scaled rapidly, opening production facilities worldwide. Germany, Munich, Dingolfing, Regensburg, South Africa, Roslyn plant, United States, Spartanburg, South Carolina, 1994, China, joint ventures in Shenyang, plus India and more. The Spartanburg plant became crucial to BMW's global strategy. By the early 2000s, it produced over 1,000 cars daily, mostly X-Series SUVs. The numbers show the incredible transformation. 1990, 560,000 cars sold, 21 billion revenue. 2000, over 1 million units sold, $45 billion in revenue, $2+ billion in profit. 2010, BMW Group, including Mini and Rolls-Royce, sold 1.4+ million cars, $80 billion in revenue, $4+ billion in profit. In 20 years, BMW had quadrupled in scale. BMW wasn't just chasing speed. They focused on safety, engineering, precision, technology, comfort, and sustainability. They introduced features like iDrive, touchscreen plus data controller, heads-up display, adaptive cruise control, run-flat tires, and active steering, all without losing performance. Even before the world went electric, BMW planned for the future. In 2011, they announced the BMW i brand for electric and plug-in hybrid vehicles. Their first model, BMW i3, launched in 2013, was a futuristic electric city car made with carbon fiber, lightweight, and sustainable. The BMW i8 followed, a plug-in hybrid sports car symbolizing what cars could become. BMW was preparing for a future where speed and sustainability could coexist.
Chapter 3: The Challenge Era. BMW versus the Future. In the early 2000s, a new player entered the automotive world: Tesla, led by Elon Musk. At first, traditional companies like BMW didn't take it seriously. Tesla was small, American, and only made electric cars, which many thought were weak, boring, or impractical. But Tesla had something powerful: vision. They weren't just making cars, they were building a movement of clean energy, innovation, and disruption. By 2012, the Tesla Model S arrived. It was luxurious, silent, fast, and could travel 300+ miles on a single charge. Suddenly, people asked, why buy a BMW when I can get a Tesla? This was the first time in decades BMW faced a real threat to its image, not from Mercedes or Audi, but from an outsider. Governments worldwide were changing laws too. Countries like Germany, France, Norway, UK, and China announced future bans on gasoline and diesel engines. Some said no petrol cars after 2035. Others pushed for 100% EVs by 2040. BMW's success had always been built on the internal combustion engine, that deep, powerful roar that made people fall in love with driving. Now the world was saying, turn off that engine or die. This wasn't just a marketing challenge, it was a complete identity transformation. Instead of copying Tesla completely, BMW launched a new strategy called the Power of Choice. Their idea: give customers whatever powertrain they want. Gasoline, diesel, hybrid, or electric. Don't force them, offer everything. BMW started building flexible platforms where the same car could have either a gas engine or electric motor. They launched new EVs and plug-in hybrids: BMW 330e, plug-in hybrid, BMW X5 xDrive 45e, BMW iX, electric SUV, BMW i4, electric sedan, BMW iX, fully electric SUV. These cars were good, elegant, fast, luxurious, and technologically advanced. But there was a problem. They didn't feel revolutionary. They felt like BMWs with batteries, not futuristic visions. Meanwhile, Tesla was updating cars over the air, offering autopilot, breaking 0 to 60 records, building gigafactories in record time, and making headlines daily. BMW customers loved their cars, but the world's attention was shifting to newer, faster-changing brands.
In the 2020s, BMW made a controversial design choice: They started releasing cars with huge front grilles, especially on the 7 Series, iX, and M3/M4 models. Traditionally, BMW had elegant, sporty, compact kidney grilles. Now they were huge, vertical, and extremely bold. The internet reacted immediately, and not positively. Car fans called it ugly, too aggressive, a design mistake that ruined BMW's face. Even loyal fans asked what happened to BMW's design soul. But BMW stood firm. If people are talking, we're doing something right. We don't want to be boring. It was risky, but created massive attention. BMW made headlines worldwide. Some hated it, others loved it, but nobody ignored it. Despite challenges, BMW remained financially strong. 2015, $100 billion revenue, $7 billion profit, 2.25 million cars sold. 2020, pandemic year, $116 billion revenue, $4.7 billion profit, 2.3 million cars sold. 2023, $157 billion revenue, $18 billion profit, 2.5 million plus cars sold, 376,000 plus electric vehicles. BMW wasn't dying, it was adapting carefully and strategically. BMW focused heavily on technology, voice assistants, digital dashboards, BMW Operating System 8, over-the-air updates, gesture control, Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto integration. They partnered with tech companies for autonomous driving, smart parking, and AI. The BMW digital key let phones become car keys. The message was clear: we're not just about engines anymore, we're about innovation. One of BMW's smartest 2020s moves was rethinking their brand message. Instead of only focusing on horsepower and 0 to 60 times, they emphasized joy, freedom, sustainability, and emotion. They redesigned their logo in 2020, flat, modern, minimal, symbolizing digital evolution. Their slogan evolved from the ultimate driving machine to sheer driving pleasure, more emotional. They wanted people to remember that a BMW isn't just transportation, it's an experience. BMW also managed two famous sub-brands brilliantly. Rolls-Royce, purchased in 1998, extreme luxury for billionaires. Mini, purchased in 2000, urban, fun, youthful cars with personality. They kept each brand's heritage, design soul, and target audience while bringing modern tech, electric variants, and global sales. Future strategy, New Klasse 2.0. BMW's long-term strategy, called New Klasse, same name as the 1960s revolution, was reintroduced for fully electric platforms, radical design, innovation, circular economy, recycling, sustainability, zero emissions, and high digital experience. By 2030, BMW plans 50% of all sales to be electric, all Mini and Rolls-Royce models fully electric, all factories carbon neutral, and over $100 billion invested in EV development and battery factories.
Chapter 4: Legacy, Love, and the Unstoppable Soul of BMW. As BMW entered the 2020s, it faced a new challenge: staying human in a world becoming more machine, staying emotional in a digital age, staying BMW while the world tried to change what cars mean. BMW's story has never been just about building cars. It's always been about something deeper. When someone buys a BMW, they're not just buying a machine. They're buying confidence, movement, dreams, and power that responds. Sometimes it's proof they've succeeded. Ask any passionate BMW driver, and they'll say, "When I sit behind that steering wheel, I feel alive." There's a reason BMW survived 2 world wars, economic collapse, legal bans, near bankruptcy, global competition, technological revolutions, and the biggest transformation in car history: electricity. No matter what happened, BMW kept moving, and so did the people who loved it. BMW is the car for someone who doesn't want to show off, but wants to feel something. Someone who doesn't just drive, but lives behind the wheel. Who doesn't need the fastest 0 to 60 time, but loves how the car hugs the road. Who wants a car that isn't just smart, but speaks to the heart. That's why for millions of people, their first BMW is unforgettable. Maybe it was an old 3 Series, a hand-me-down from their father, a second-hand car they saved years for, or the reward after building a business.
but it meant something. It wasn't about leather seats. It was about that first morning drive, the first turn, the way the engine whispered, "You're not just going to work today, you're alive."
BMW's journey teaches powerful business lessons. 1. You can be reborn more than once. BMW was almost destroyed multiple times. In 1919, when banned from making planes, in 1945, after factories were bombed, in 1959, when nearly bought by Mercedes, in the 2010s, when Tesla stole attention. But every time, BMW didn't cry. They rebuilt, reimagined, and rose again. In life and business, you will fall. That doesn't mean you're finished. It means you're ready to transform. 2. Don't be afraid to change. BMW didn't say, "We're just an engine company." They became motorcycle innovators, car legends, luxury designers, racing champions, technology leaders, and electric pioneers. If they had refused to adopt, they'd be gone decades ago. If you don't change, the world will leave you behind. 3. Legacy is built through pain. People respect BMW not because it was perfect, but because it suffered, survived, and kept going. BMW's beauty is in its imperfections, the wars it lived through, markets it lost, mistakes it made, criticism it faced, but the soul always remained. Today's BMW Group numbers. Total value, over $110 billion. Annual revenue, $157+ billion. Net profit, $18+ billion per year. Employees, 130,000+ globally. Presence, 140+ countries. Production, 2.5+ million vehicles yearly. Electric or hybrid, 25% of total sales. Brands, BMW, Mini, Rolls-Royce, and BMW Motorrad. BMW isn't just surviving, it's leading again.
The future question. As AI grows, roads become autonomous, and EVs become silent, will BMW's passions still matter? Yes. BMW is preparing for a future combining emotion with software, performance with electricity, heritage with innovation. Their upcoming Neue Klasse EVs promise to be faster, more sustainable, more digital than ever, yet still feel like BMW behind the wheel. That's the secret. BMW refuses to let technology kill emotion. They want to prove you can still feel joy, even in the age of silence. Your lesson. You may never own a BMW. You may never drive one. But this story isn't really about a car. It's about humans who refuse to quit. A company that rose from ashes again and again. A symbol of reinvention and a reminder that nothing is truly over until you give up. BMW lost everything, not once, not twice, but multiple times. Yet here they are, still building, still racing, still dreaming. Maybe that's what you need right now. Maybe your life has hit a wall. Maybe your dream feels broken. Maybe your identity is being tested. Maybe the world thinks your time is over. Let BMW remind you, you're allowed to collapse, but you're not allowed to stay down. You can reinvent. You can evolve. You can become the ultimate driving machine of your own life. BMW isn't just a company. It's a lesson in courage, a story of speed, soul, and survival, and a reminder that every engine that stops can start again. Thank you for joining me on this incredible journey through BMW's story. Remember, this wasn't just entertainment, it was designed to improve your English, inspire your mind, and awaken your heart. If you learned something powerful today, if your English improved while listening, if you felt real emotion from this brand's life story, then do one simple thing: like, share, and subscribe. Here at Daily English, we don't just teach English, we use stories of greatness, resilience, and transformation to change your life one lesson at a time. Share this with someone who needs hope. Subscribe so you never miss the next life-changing story. And remember, just like BMW rose from nothing, you too can rise, rebuild, and become unstoppable. I'll see you in the next story.
Until then, stay inspired, stay learning, and stay powerful.